Well, good morning. How are y'all? It's a pleasure and a privilege to be with you on this Friday morning from Texas to Kentucky. Thank you for having me. Big thanks to Jim Henderson and a lot of Kentucky friends that I'm honored to know and work with through NACo. You've got a great presence. I know you know that at the National Association of Counties from Kentucky. But Judge Gary Moore, of course, great NACo friend, Michael Logston, Amy Chandler, if Amy's still in the room. We went through County Leadership Institute together several years ago and became fast friends there. And Dan Mosley, thanks for the hospitality as well and for your work with the association. This Kentucky hospitality is something special too, more than I expected. When my wife and I, we checked in on Wednesday evening when we got here, and we were in a hurry to turn around real quick and get changed to come down to the reception. So we're in the room changing, and all of a sudden somebody comes through the door, and it's hotel security, house security. And he comes in saying, "Nobody's supposed to be in here. This room is locked out. This room is locked out." And so we're in here and we're changing, and he said, "Well, meet me in the hall. Meet me in the hall." So I go out in the hall, and he's got another guy with him. And he says, "Sir, this room's supposed to be locked out." And I said, "Well, this is the room they gave us. I'm sorry." And he said, "Well, this gentleman is a past guest, and he left something in the room and needs to retrieve his item." Okay, that's fine. I said, "You could have knocked." And he said, "Is it all right if he goes in and gets his item?" And I said, "Yeah." And so the guy goes in, he comes out and he leaves, and the hotel security pulls me aside and he said, "Sir, what the deal was is this past guest had left his firearm in the nightstand, and this room was supposed to be locked out till he could come get it, and they put you in here accidentally." And I said, "Oh, I understand now why you were tightly wound." And I travel a lot for NACo all across the country to talk to counties, and I'm in a lot of places where they'll leave a Bible in the nightstand for you, but Kentucky, yeah, that's a first. So thank y'all. Thanks for that. And it is an honor to be here for NACo and see so much of similar work that y'all are doing at the state level with KACo, because the idea is the same, is that voices of the counties, when we're able to unite around some shared perspectives, common issues, our voices are a whole lot stronger as one united county voice than if we're all just trying to tackle things individually on our own. And I know y'all do that at the state level with KACo. If you're not real familiar with NACo, that's exactly what we're doing for counties at the federal level as well, because we truly believe that we are stronger together. Kentucky is one of the strongest delegations we have in NACo. You're 100% state, all 120 counties members of NACo. And that's phenomenal, and we appreciate that and that great partnership. It gives you immense influence at the federal level to have that united Kentucky voice. And I would tell you that just beyond your membership, just beyond your dues, that's not why I'm here. You are members. You're a 100% member state. But we want your voice, we want your perspectives, your experience, your stories, because we need that Kentucky perspective elevated at the federal level. Just like KACo, you take the story to the state capitol and say, "Let me tell you how this would work in my county." We are doing the same thing in D.C. It's easy to have a good idea in D.C., but then you hear about from the actual ground, the grassroots, how it's going to work if they implement it. And that's why we need you there stepping up, sharing those stories with us. And if you're not real familiar with NACo, the things we're working on, federal policy, programs we're putting out, those are completely county-driven. NACo is a county official, county employee-driven organization. It's not NACo staff coming up with these policies. It's shaped, written, and adopted by county officials. And so if you want an organization to look more like Kentucky, you got to show up, you got to engage with us, and we welcome that. When it comes to federal policy, as you can imagine, we are busy in D.C. right now. There's a lot moving, there's a lot of things happening, a lot of things changing, a lot of things that impact counties. And we want to share when things will help us serve our citizens better. We want to share when things might make life a little more difficult in county government, because our mission for 90 years as NACo has been to be pro-county government, because if we're pro-county government, pro-good local government, that's good for our citizens, that's good for our taxpayers. We're not a political, not a partisan organization. We're a true intergovernmental partner. So just like you take it to the state capitol, we want to make that seamless transition from county seat to state capitol to D.C. to help carry that county message. We're working on things like advancing public safety and emergency management. We've got a big county role right now in helping shape this argument about what is the future of FEMA and what's disaster response going to look like when these federal level disasters happen in our counties. We're dealing with mounting behavioral health caseloads, often tied to substance abuse. And as you know, then when we have mounting behavioral health, mounting substance abuse issues, that's an impact on our jails, that's an impact on our youth, that's an impact on our streets. We're dealing with rising infrastructure costs and needs in counties. Counties take care of so many of the roads and bridges in this nation, but a lot of times when that funding comes out, they don't really think about the county component of that and what we need to tackle on county infrastructure. So like right now, we expect the surface transportation bill to be coming up next year. We're engaged right now having fly-ins, meeting with key stakeholders, because we want to be a part of that infrastructure discussion before there's a bill written. We don't want to just show up after a bill's been filed and say, here's problems we see with it. We're trying to proactively shape what infrastructure needs to look like in America. And at the same time, we're asking for streamlined permitting on these infrastructure projects, because if we can save some time on regulatory red tape, we're delivering projects faster for our citizens and we're saving our taxpayers money. NACo led the charge this year with county official help from Kentucky on preserving the status of tax-exempt municipal bonds. That's a crucial financing tool for local governments to get big-ticket infrastructure projects done by being able to use tax-exempt municipal bonds. In fact, in Kentucky, state and local governments over the past 10 years have used tax-exempt municipal bonds to fund $41.1 billion worth of infrastructure projects in Kentucky. And by doing that, through that tax-exempt tool for those investors, you save taxpayers $800 million in what would have been higher interest costs by being able to offer that tax-exempt municipal bond opportunity. Beyond advocacy, NACo helps make sure that we're maximizing our public resources, because we understand when we can save some money in one place, that allows us to reallocate resources to better serve our taxpayers. NACo Edge is a growing enterprise services portfolio that NACo provides to help us find cost and time savings with employee benefits, cooperative purchasing, cash liquidity opportunities, and peer networks and best practices. You may have visited this week. I know our partners at 3+1 were here at KACo, and I know there are KACo counties that have seen great success with 3+1. 3+1 has saved county governments of all sizes across the country over $4 billion so far in helping counties find increased interest income and reduced bank fees. It's a software platform. They're not investing your money for you, but they've got a software tool that helps you find where you may be leaving money on the table to benefit your taxpayers. We've got the Public Promise Insurance opportunity through NACo Edge, which is a prescription drugs savings by harnessing the buying power of counties all across America. Just like we see a united voice providing strength for counties, counties are an amazing pool to get better bang for our buck if we can unite on services that we're pursuing as well. Public Promise Procurement, competitive contracts that we have a sponsor county, often a large urban county, will negotiate a contract, but they negotiate it in a way that then other counties can piggyback on it and benefit from that same pricing. And the peer networks that we have. Peer networks, best practices, you get quite a library of resources, stories, successes, challenges that have been overcome when you're able to harness the knowledge and the experience of over 40,000 county officials and a county workforce of more than 3.6 million county employees. You see that play out in things like our Rural Energy Academy. That's a new offering that's been a huge hit with NACo, a lot of interest. Maybe some of y'all have signed up for it already. The Rural Energy Academy is basically a peer exchange to get county officials together with county officials dealing with similar energy development issues and also subject matter experts from the field. It's energy agnostic. It's not about one source of energy, one type of energy. It's about traditional energy sources, emerging energy sources. For example, they're doing a fly-in on wind and solar. They're looking at a fly-in next year on some counties that have dealt with nuclear power, things like that. Oil and gas counties in West Texas are very excited about this because it's a way to get together and say, hey, for example, you've already had this solar farm come in. Talk to me about taxation issues. Talk to me about infrastructure issues. What are questions I need to be asking when these projects are coming into my county? That's how we share best practices, by hearing what's worked for somebody or didn't work for somebody somewhere else. We've got the Opioid Solutions Center, which KACo's been a great partner in. This is getting county officials together to share experiences of what has worked to help reduce overdose deaths in our counties. Where have we found successes? How have we been able to effectively, impactfully use opioid settlement money to help prevent overdose deaths in our counties? That's how we share best practices, and it comes from sitting around a table with other county officials, like-minded folks, to share stories. And that's what I'm focused on in this presidential year. Each NACo president gets to roll out an initiative, a spotlight of what our framework's going to be over the next year. And when I became president in July, I rolled mine out called County Storytellers, because as county officials, we're all storytellers, whether you realize it or not. And I think that telling a story is one of our most impactful, powerful tools that we have to connect with our constituents and to resonate with federal policy officials. We can leave a white paper with somebody full of statistics. It'll likely get shuffled in a stack with the other ones, but if we tell them an impactful story along with that data of how it looks in our county, how it felt to somebody in our county, they're more likely to remember that. Adam, your speech last night, absolutely incredible. I'm going to remember things about Adam Onan because you weren't just standing up here rattling to me some phrases about leadership and things that you believe. You were telling me stories, showing me things about Adam Onan, and I will remember that. That's why stories matter. And that's right. Thank you. And that's what we're going to spend the next year doing in NACo, is we're looking at the power of storytelling and explore how it builds trust, how it cuts through noise, how it connects with people, and how it makes an impact. The story of Kentucky counties, the story of American counties, that's what we've got to be taking to our legislators, to the federal agencies, even to the Supreme Court when we have to at the federal level, to tell them our county stories and make them realize the work that we're doing and what we're trying to get done for our folks. I want to hear your stories. I want to help you share your stories. Thank you for being a 100% member state in Kentucky, but let's go beyond just the membership. Let's get that engagement. Let's get your voices and stories elevated. Thank y'all so much for having me. I'm honored to work with you.